Today I'm taking behind the scenes on one of the craziest private lessons I have ever done, working one-on-one with a dog that has anxious energy, poor leash manners, and pretty severe reactivity. I'm gonna show you how to fix all of those. See you there. And so how old is he?
10 months?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Still a little puppy?
Yeah.
And where'd you get him?
Rescued in Texas.
Gotcha.
It was abandoned.
Bud just found on the side of the road.
And how long ago was that?
We got him at 16 weeks. So
Okay, so he was still pretty young.
Nope.
Yeah.
And it seems like he's just got a little bit of, I know, bud.
Bond? Nope.
Just a little bit of almost anxious energy, where he's just.
Crazy anxious energy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure it's the same thing with the reactivity, but it just probably shows a little worse, like reactivity with dogs, I assume.
Yeah.
But
He's constantly tense. Like, it's nonstop tension. Yeah. The moment he's out of his crate, he starts, looking around, trying to figure out where all the noises are coming from.
Got it.
We've got a golden retriever down our hallway. We live in a condo, and the golden retriever, when he hears its tags, or when he hears the sound of its owners, he loses it. He starts losing his mind. The elevator is like a massive issue for him. The moment the door's open, if there's a dog, he's absolutely beside himself.
Yeah.
And honestly, that started, we believe, when a bunch of dogs, people just didn't really have etiquette coming into the elevator, so they would just let their dogs lead, barked in his face, and that was when he was much smaller.
Yeah,
and
kind of freaks him out, and then he's just every time he goes in the elevator, he's expecting that situation.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And so.
And then.
Thirsty.
All the other times, he sees a dog in the distance, and then he makes a decision whether it's a dog he's going to react to or not.
Got it.
He doesn't react to every dog.
His hair.
What percentage is it?
I would say probably
Half?
50%.
Half?
And
More than that, maybe 60.
Got it.
yeah, about that. And no rhyme or reason.
Forget the elevator thing, but when you're out and about, what do you think his intentions are when he's barking at a dog? If you were to just drop the leash and let him do what would you think he would do?
So, well, we have an example, actually, because I let go of the leash.
Uh-huh.
I had been going out trying to get him acclimated to dogs, and we'd done really well with 4 or 5 dogs, right? He wasn't really losing it completely. And then the last one, there'd been a little delay in between the last dog and that one. And he came out of a door up ahead. He seemed okay. He pulled back for a moment, and I was just not holding on hard.
Tight. Yeah.
And then just something snapped, and he gave it his all. And he flew right out of my hand, ran about 2 blocks in an instant, and was on them in a second. And he wanted to play. He's getting down there. He was trying to get to the dog, and obviously the dog's losing it because he's a quarter his size, and the guy's losing it, which fair.
Yep.
And so the intention, I think, is pretty clear. He wants to play, and then he's frustrated as hell.
Yep.
He really is.
That is really good news from my end, and for you guys, because that is generally the easiest type of reactivity fix. All it is generally a lack of boundaries and expectations. He, for whatever reason, I'm sure part of it was before you got him, and I'm sure part of it was just how he's been conditioned since you've had him, but he doesn't know how to handle seeing other dogs, and we'll try to showcase it.
Nope.
Yeah.
Exactly. Boundaries, that's kind of a demand bark. That's oh, this is so fun, come on!
I know.
Now he's chewing the leash, right? It's
bored, let's play.
All of this stuff is connected to the reactivity. Even when we were just standing here talking, he's sniffing around, licking the water off the ground. You tell him to sit, he doesn't sit, right? All of these things are connected to what is really just kind of almost a poor relationship. He's I'm sure there's times around the house where he listens to you, but I'm sure there's a lot of times where he just says, F you, right? I don't care what you have to say.
Yeah.
Am I accurate when I say that?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
And so really what you guys are most likely missing, and we'll probably find this out pretty quickly, is just a lack of boundaries and expectations.
He's massively fearful of the immediate dogs around us. So there's a few dogs that he just had bad experiences with, and or they're close.
Yep.
They're too close.
So
And it doesn't matter what scenario is in. He wants them gone.
got it. So this is a perfect example of two types of reactivity with one dog. Most of the time it's not two types of reactivity. Most of the time it's one. Dogs are very instinctual beings, instinctual learners. There's reinforcers and there's punishers. When we give a dog a reinforcer, positive or negative reinforcement, that is us increasing the likelihood of a behavior to be repeated. You know, sit for a treat. Or you tell him to come and you give him a little bit of leash pressure and he comes to you. That's negative reinforcement. So that's just encouraging a behavior. Then there's punishers, which positive and negative punishment, which decrease the likelihood of a behavior to be repeated. So he's on a walk. He had such a big reinforcer from playing with other dogs and seeing other dogs and doesn't know the boundaries, that he is always gonna seek out that reinforcer. So he sees a dog, he barks, he lunges, right? Because he wants to go say hi to the dog. On the other side, he's in your apartment, he sees a dog. He had such a heavily punishing experience that he is going to do everything he can to avoid that,
Yeah.
right? And so that's the other side of reactivity, where he had a terrible experience and he is doing everything in his power to get away from it. And so it's our responsibility to bring both of these experiences back to neutral. When he sees a dog out on a walk, we don't want him to have a good experience. We also don't want him to have a bad experience. We want him to have a totally neutral experience. When you are walking down the street and you see a random person, you know, just walking the other way, you probably have a pretty neutral experience, at least the vast majority of the time. You might look at them, you might nod, you might say, hey, how's it going? And then keep walking. Kind of want it to be like that.
Right.
And on the other side of that, in your apartment, we want to show him that dogs being really close to you, you know, dogs passing by, there's no need to be scared. We want him to essentially get away with having a slightly more positive experience, to enjoy it a little bit. And all of this comes down to our relationship with him and kind of how we communicate with him. You know, I mean, just like in the last 10 minutes, us standing here, right? He can't really sit still, you know, he's always picking something up. And these are things that are connected to our relationship with him. Like he picked up that little, you know, whatever, the sticker, you know, whatever that is. He needs to be able to like chill out a little bit, and you need to be able to kind of bring him back down, right? Us standing around here, he should be able pretty quickly to just sit there and do nothing.
Right.
Like here, I'll show you,
Right.
if you don't mind.
And he's like this at home too, inside the house.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and so again, that's also, that's also your responsibility to communicate with him around the house. Same thing. Good. No. Yes. Good boy. No. So you can almost tell that when he gets a little uncomfortable, he's used to like, oh mom, dad, save me, right? You know, jumps into your arms, and that's his out. I want his out, no. To be this. Good boy. And anything but no. Yes. Anything but this is a wrong answer. Think about punishers and reinforcers. I'm adding just a little bit of punishment. Any other behavior he's doing other than sitting still. And he's watching the car and stuff. Good boy. And I'm adding a reinforcer for doing what I want him to do. Good. And so even around the house, like, does he have a bed or a place board or something?
Yeah.
I would potentially recommend getting a place board. We can bring one out later. I can show you. But he is not really mature enough to be loose around the house. So let's just start off.
Yes, correct.
I mean, I'm sure you know this, right?
Yeah. No. So we have two different philosophies when it comes to training dogs and keeping dogs. And
Tell me them.
we don't. One of us has a lot of boundaries, and the other one does not. And so we're trying to bring those two things to a good place.
I try to like feeding times, I try like keep him on his bed, very slowly feed him the food, like train him to be calm, sit, like you can stay in this place, it's fine. So I don't fully,
Sure.
but maybe I am not.
You're the one with less boundaries.
Yes, I definitely am.
Got it.
I definitely am.
Got it.
Which is fine. It just leads to,
No.
and so we need to figure out how to do the harder
Yes.
things.
Yes.
And really, so it's a little bit different than humans. He's a dog,
Yeah.
and I know he's in your household, and he is, you know, kind of like, you know, probably like your first kid, right?
Yeah.
But he is also a dog.
Yeah.
If this same exact dog, if he lived in the wild, what would he be doing? One of three things. Pretty much 99% of the time, eating, sleeping, or hunting. Right, hunting, eating, or sleeping. And dogs are very instinctual beings. They do something, there's a bad outcome, they are less likely to do it again. You know, they're hunting for an animal and they do some certain technique and it doesn't work. No. They're less likely to do it. No. Bond goes up to his pack mate or, you know, an adult in the pack and starts messing around with them, and that dog grabs him by the neck, throws him down on the ground and tells him no, and was like, whoa, what the heck? And he's less likely to do that again.
He goes back for more, actually.
So
It depends on the day.
yeah, and so really we're not punishing behaviors if that's a whole nother thing.
Right.
But dogs are very instinctual beings, and if there's a good outcome, they are going to repeat that behavior. If there's a bad outcome, they're less likely to.
Yeah.
And so he barks and lunges because there is a good outcome. When he's outside, it's because even 1 out of every 50 times he gets to play with the dog. And inside the house, and so that's the 1 out of 50 times that he barks and gets what he wants is way more reinforcing than the 49 other experiences where he doesn't get what he wants.
Right.
And so that way outweighs it. When he's in his apartment, it's the opposite. When he like barks and lunges, tries to get away or tries to get the dog away, he does that, and what happens? You guys probably go 2 different ways, and he's like, phew, good. Thank goodness that worked. I'm gonna do that again, right? And so it's our responsibility. He lives in your house. You know, he's not out in the wild, and it's your responsibility to communicate with him. What do you do as a dog, right? In the human world, not in the dog world, but in the human world. And notice how just a little bit of structure I gave him and guidance. I didn't really tell him much. I just kind of let him learn. Every time he got up, I would correct him a little bit.
Right.
And he kind of settled himself down.
Right.
You know, right? This is very different from when we were first here, and he was like over there, you know, picking stuff up, licking everything.
And the concept of the structure being better for him is important, right? Like he is calmer. I would
Totally.
imagine
Yes.
he's calmer when he is being told what to do.
Do you think he's happier now, or when he's like whining and sniffing around and doing this and doing that? Which one do you think he's happier?
And once again, I am not saying that it's not. It is also me. It is definitely me.
Yeah. What I want to do is I want to go bring a dog out,
Okay.
see how you handle it, see how it goes.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You can stay right here. I'll be right back in a sec.
All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Good boy. Good job. Good boy. Good boy. Let's go. Oh, no. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Relax. Nope. 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 Good boy. Let's go. Let's go. Nope. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go. Good boy.
Boy, bud.
Let's go. Let's go. Nope. 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 Nope.
Good
Let's go.
boy.
Let's go. Good boy. Good boy.
Do it, Platts. So, all he's doing here
Yeah. That's it.
is saying, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you want. I just want to play with that dog.
Yeah.
And you're holding him back, and he doesn't have enough like guidance and structure in his life to like to take when you say no, right? You're trying to kind of say no.
Right.
And pulling him back, and that's just making it worse.
Right.
And he's just like, I want to play with that dog. Right? Come on, why not? It's right. It's unclear expectation is boundaries.
Right.
So, you mind if I take over for a sec?
No,
Thank you.
I don't mind.
Yep, I got it. So, what I want him to do is this behavior, there's an outcome to it, a good outcome. It might be every time. It might be 1 out of every 50 times. It might be 1 out of every 100 times. But he does this for a reason.
Right.
And likely the outcome is for situations like when he just got off leash and got to like go torment that dog. Right, when you explain that.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, you know, if he sees a friend or, you know, right, like someone that he knows, he'll start doing this and you let him off leash. Does that ever happen?
Okay, no, I mean.
His friends, he'd go right up on his leash and say hi.
Yeah. So that's part of the issue.
Okay.
He's doing a very similar behavior and getting and getting a very similar outcome, right? And getting something, or sorry, not a similar, a positive outcome. So what I want him to learn is just because there's a dog there doesn't mean there's not a good outcome and there's not a bad outcome.
Right.
So what we have to do is essentially correct that behavior, but actually correct it where he's like, whoa, what? Oh, got it. Okay, I'm not supposed to do that.
Right.
That's wrong. And then we could show him what we do want him to do.
Right.
But it's a boundary, right? All this is you guys having a lack of boundaries. It's nothing more than that. That's really easy. All we need to do is create a boundary. And what I mean by creating a boundary, I'm gonna go walk past him. That's my dog, that's Dewey. And I'm gonna go walk past him, and when he does something I don't want him to do, like a bad behavior, I'm gonna correct him.
Right.
And correct him enough where he stops. And when he does something I do want him to do, I'm gonna tell him, good boy, right, this is how you win. It's exactly what I did when I was just standing here, sitting here. Right, letting him take in the outcomes. I'm not gonna tell him not to go bark and lunge. I'm not gonna tell him what to do. I'm gonna let him do it.
Right.
And like here, I didn't tell him to sit. I didn't tell him once to sit. I didn't tell him to stay. I just let him learn. He got up, I gave a little pressure, he sat back down, good. Dogs learn by their behaviors and their actions. And so, you know, even just me asking for like a sit stay or just some calmness has calmed him down a little bit, but it's not really practical to do this every single time you see a dog because dogs are walking by, right? So let's see how this goes. Bleib. No. Yes, good boy. Good boy. Good. Good boy. Good. And he has already calmed down, so, right, you know, it does make it a little bit easier, but that's great. Yes. Good. You can see how he doesn't really know how to handle it yet.
Right.
Yeah.
You know? Right? He's very unsure of this. And this should be totally normal, right? When you pass other humans, you just walk past them, right? He should do the same thing.
Even if you know, because we have a ton of condo dogs around us, which of course he is one of them, but they are usually just losing their minds in his direction. It's like constant, you know?
Like they're losing their minds at him? Yeah?
There's tons of little dogs in our area.
Yeah, and the little dogs are barking.
they're
Yeah.
just-
White dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he spends half his time on guard waiting for them to bark at him.
So that's the problem, like even to start,
Yeah.
is you're standing there with him, you're on a walk, he's fine, you know, he won't hurt you, he's friendly. But like you're waiting for him or you're out on a walk, he's just like waiting for the second that he can do it, right?
Yeah.
And like when we walked over here and he was pulling you around and over here and over there, and then we stood here and he's like, can't sit still. Like that's part of it.
Right.
When we go on a walk, we should just walk. I mean, notice how like me and Dewey walked out very calmly. That should be the only boundary. That's the only expectation of what you should do with him, or expectation for him at least. Good boy. Good bud. So you see how the outcome was neutral there?
Yeah.
Right.
Nothing crazy good happened. Nothing crazy bad happened from passing the dog. No. Good. Yes. Good. So, really what I'm kind of doing differently here is when I correct him, I'm being a little more firm than you were. But also, at first, I let him have, you know, this is what, a 6-foot leash? 5-foot leash? Yeah. I let him have all 5 feet. And, you know, I'll kind of show you again, but I just kind of let him go and make decisions on his own, right? I'm not making any decisions for him. Good boy, good bud, yes, good, right? And so I'm not holding the leash all the way up here at this handle.
Yeah.
Because when we hold it here, the leash is already tight. And when it's tight, we're just playing tug of war, right? You can't communicate with him, bring him back.
Right.
And so, right, I do want the leash always to be loose.
Yeah.
And this is basic leash pressure, 101, really. Imagine you're waiting in line for ice cream, you know, and I'm standing behind you, and I just lean up against you. What you're doing is you're leaning against me,
Yeah.
so you don't fly forward.
Sure.
That's opposition reflex. He does the same thing.
Right.
So if I pull him back, his automatic response to that
Right.
is to push into the leash,
Sure.
right? So he doesn't fly to me. So whenever we pull him and whenever the leash is tight, we are literally telling him, I want you to pull into the
Yeah,
leash.
fight me. Yeah.
Exactly. So the only time the leash is tight, you can imagine that my left hand right here, that this is him, is a pop. And so sometimes we need a bigger pop. Sometimes we just need a smaller pop.
Right.
It's the only time the leash is tight. We're not pulling him back. It's a pop. It's like getting his attention. And so that's exactly what I was doing. And just, hey, I want you to do this. I don't want you to do that.
Right.
So I'm gonna let you drive for a second. And this is gonna be easier for him because, right, you know, he's a little used to it. Good boy, buddy. Pop, now. Bigger.
So I'm pulling more than popping.
Exactly.
So that motion.
And now you're holding them tight again.
That's
yep. It's all muscle memory, right?
Yeah.
And I just want to get you out of it.
I hate that one.
Yeah.
I hate that second.
Pulling again. Yep. That's what you want the response to be.
Right.
Like, watch. Look. That's what you want his response to be, is when you give him pressure for him to stop what he's doing and coming back.
Right.
Yes. Good. And then when he comes back to you, exactly. Exactly. Hey, that's wrong, but this is right.
Oh, God.
Yes. 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 Good boy.
Good boy.
Yes.
Good dog. Good dog.
So that was good, right? You kind of brought him back.
Yeah.
You were able to kind of snap him out of it.
Come on.
But if
Let's
he
go.
keeps doing it, you're not correcting him.
Right.
Right? You're not getting the point across that that's wrong. If he keeps doing what.
Right. So is it just not enough of a correction?
Yeah, and it's, yeah. Try like 20% more than that. Good. Good blow. Yes.
Good boy.
Awesome. That was so much.
boy.
Yes.
Good boy, buddy.
And so another thing. Yes. Good boy. Another thing I want you to start working on is when he barks, don't remove him from the situation.
When he barks? Yeah.
Yeah. So don't like him bark and you walk away. Stay in the same vicinity. Yes. Good boy. Good boy. Good.
Good boy. Good job, buddy.
Good blow. What really, in the in this first part of the reactivity, when we're outside and he wants to play with the dog,
Yeah.
it is solely a lack of boundaries. You know, I could, you know, I'll bring some more dogs out and push you guys, but it is just the fact that he barks and he gets something out of it, you know? If you give him a big enough correction where he's like, what, okay, got it, okay, that wasn't really fun. He turns around, so be like, okay, so I guess that's wrong, I'm not supposed to do that. And then you tell him what he is supposed to do. One big takeaway, and we're nowhere near done here, but like one big takeaway and something to even work on here is red light or green light.
Right.
That's wrong, this is right. Let's try it with another dog.
Okay. Sounds good.
Good boy, come on, dude, let's go. No. 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 Yes.
Jesus.
Good boy, Tiz. Good boy. No. Yes. Good boy. Good boy, bud. Yes. Good boy. So you were able to snap him out of it.
After like 3.
Yeah.
Still no.
Right. He's still
Good.
hyper focused.
And then make sure you tell him when he is doing what you want him to do.
Boy, good job.
Yeah, that he's doing a good job. So let's reset.
All right.
I'm gonna just walk down here for a sec and then we'll walk back.
So walk.
We'll walk right towards each other.
Okay.
You know, as if we're on a sidewalk. Yes. Good boy, bud. Good boy. That was better.
Yeah.
Right, he's allowed to look, but yeah,
Nope.
when he starts like changing his body, you
Right.
know, right, and like changing his direction and like rerouting like that, that's where it's, yeah, exactly.
Boy.
You know, he's allowed to look all he wants, you know, right? You walk past someone, you look at them.
Right.
You know, it's not that he's not allowed to look.
Good boy. Nope.
Good, Tiz. Yes. Good boy.
Nope.
And so a little bit quicker, a little
Yeah.
sooner.
Right. Okay.
And also stop holding the leash there.
Yep.
Yep. Now. Still a pull.
Right.
Here, so let me get another dog, and I'll be
All
right
right.
back. And then we'll work on
Get
this.
the pop going.
Now, yeah. But that was better. And so make sure you tell him, and I should have told you there, during it, but like, that was a win. So leave no room for confusion that was exactly what you want him to do, right?
Right.
You know, I mean, you saw what I was doing when I just had Tizzy out.
Yeah.
I was, yes, good boy, right? You know, like, you know, good,
Yeah.
right?
So one of our tough things is he hates this. So we have to go down.
Perfect.
Further.
Yeah.
Let's go.
You know, and like use your voice even, right? You know, even if you don't even touch them, but like, yes, good.
All right, let me turn.
You know, you got to practice the voice a little.
Yeah, I've been trying to. And oh. That
So-
whole like motion.
I'm gonna stop you for a sec. His like a little whining, and like, you know, like he got up and he started whining. If you just let him, if you gave him all 5 feet and let him do whatever he wanted, do you think he would be less calm now or more calm than he is right now? If you didn't do what you did, and you just said, hey, do whatever you want to do.
I'm assuming he'd be less calm.
I think
but-
he'd be way more anxious, right? And way less calm.
Right.
Then he's like, okay, got it. Okay, I'm just supposed to sit here. Cool, thanks, Dad. And, you know, I don't want you guys to feel like you're being dicks to him, you know, by like, hey, you can only do one thing. But it's for him, right? It's not for you guys. This is what makes him happiest. My German Shepherd, he's 1.5 years old. He was not allowed free range around the house until he was, I mean, he still isn't free, like he's in his crate right now. But when I'm around, he was probably 1 year old by the time he was around the house without a leash on and off the place board. So it started when he was, when I got him when he was 8 weeks old, he was on a place board at all times with a leash on. And then he graduated to being on the place board without a leash on. And then when he gets off the place board and just for 5 minutes around one room as I'm sitting there watching him, he has a leash on. In case he gets into something, I can grab him and pull him back and correct that. And then he graduates more and more to 10 minutes, to 30 minutes, right? And by the time he got to a year, that's where I was like, okay, I trust you to make good decisions. You're not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
But it took, 10 months of all of that training and him maturing into being, okay, cool, right, got it. I know the rules now. I'm not saying it's gonna take him 10 months to learn.
Sure.
But if you have really clear boundaries for even a couple weeks, like you are either in your crate or on your place board. You guys are sitting down for dinner, crate or place. You guys are watching TV in the evening, crate or place.
Right. So I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah.
And I think, Shayna, you can help us with remembering that it's not better for him to wander around the condo.
I think for me, it's figuring out, learning the training, the place part.
So I'll bring a place board out even, but my mom and I have this conversation all the time. My mom has a puppy who's 6 or 8 months old, and this dog is the most anxious dog. I just watched my mom's dog for a week, a week or two ago, and dog is awesome in my house. Not anxious, super chill, decently well behaved. But when the dog's at my mom's house, dog chews things up, right? Like when my mom leaves her, she leaves her out of her crate, and the dog just gets to wander around, sit at the front door, bark at people who walk by. And then when someone walks in the front door and at my mom's house, she'll bark, 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 run away. She's freaked out. She won't settle down for 10 minutes. There's a loud noise. She won't settle down. My house, we were trying to make loud noises and scare her, and we could not scare her. And at my house, I didn't do any training with her. All I did was she sat on her place board if she was out of her crate and we were inside, and you were in your crate at night and all other times. And our walks are pretty structured. And that's all I did. And she was like, okay, cool, got the rules, and was not really hardly at all anxious. And, we sent a video to my mom, and my mom was like, I know you've always said this, but I never realized how true it was that just that little bit of structure can significantly bring a dog back. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of dogs, and this is something that I think most dog owners struggle with, and I've never seen it not work if you implement it properly.
Yeah.
Right? That's what dogs need. They need that structure. I would make a rule of thumb. So dogs, he's still kind of a puppy. An adult dog needs at least 14 hours of sleep. Say you guys sleep for 8 hours. He's asleep in his crate for 8 hours at night. There's at least another 6 hours during the day that he needs to be in his crate between the time you wake up and go to bed. And he's a puppy, so he probably needs a little more than that even. So keep that in mind. He should be in his crate for 14 hours. In a 24-hour period, it'll help him. It'll kind of settle him down. And when he's out on a place board, hanging out with you, really structured, it sounds really mean, oh my God, he can't have any freedom, can't do whatever he wants to do. But he doesn't want to do whatever he wants to do. He might think he wants to, but he doesn't want to do that. It's us kind of humanizing his emotions, right?
Yes.
And I'm not trying to be tough on you. I mean, I am trying to be a little tough on you.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yes.
Joseph's getting a lot of wins right now.
No, stop. It's on me for
But
a lot of things.
It's a team.
All day.
You guys are a team.
I'm at home all day with
Yeah.
him. Joseph isn't. So.
And so this is how you really reduce his anxiety. The cause of his anxiety is a surplus of options and possibilities. Do you guys know what you're doing for dinner tonight? No? No?
We're gonna get carry out.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what if you guys were about to get carry out and you came up with 35 options and made, right? You read out all 35 options of places that you wanted to go. It'd be like, God, can you just pick already? I assume that, your response would be something along those lines. But what if you said, oh no, you have to pick. right? Like, you know, that creates some anxiety.
Right.
You're doing that, but multiplying that by a million, you know? When he's out on a walk, he's like, oh, I want to go do this. Oh, I want to go do this. Oh, no, actually, I want to do this. Oh, wait, no, I could do this. You know, it's like if you give a kid 15 million, you know, what you do is you give a kid, hey, you can have this, this, or this, you know? And so when we reduce the amount of options and say, you have one thing that you are supposed to do, it's like, oh, got it. Cool.
Right.
Thanks, Dad. And in all situations, when you're standing around, when you pass a dog, when you pass a dog, there's one rule. You don't bark and lunge at the dog. And you walk with me. You know, maybe there's 2 rules. Right? Those are your boundaries. Those are our boundaries that we're setting. What I want to start for a second before we're gonna bring out dogs again, but I want you, and actually I'll drive for a sec.
Sure.
We're gonna perfect just our loose leash walking and our leash pressure with nothing going on. So there's 4 feet. You can think about it. He has a 4-foot bubble. Really a 3-foot, like 11-inch bubble, because once it's 4 feet, I've lost all my leverage. Right? So it's right, if I'm going to correct him, I have to do it when the leash is right here. You know, right when it's still loose. Let's go. Yes. So that's a sudden U-turn. He's walking ahead, he's like, oh, this is fun. And I'm driving, right? I'm in charge of the walk, I'm the leader, I'm the pack leader. You guys should be the pack leader, right? And sometimes you decide to stop and turn around. Right, he has to be paying some attention to you.
You good? You okay?
And so I just turn around and walk the other way. By the time he gets a little bit of pressure, I'm already walking the other way. And he's like, what? Oh, he's going that way. Yes, good boy, bud. Good boy. Right, he's like, you know, okay, I guess I gotta pay a little more attention. You can see he's walking better already.
Right.
And now, yes, good, bud. And then, yes. So he caught me there. I kind of gave it away because I made the inkling of a noise. Yes. But so that's sudden U-turns, that's step 1. See, now he kind of has sudden U-turns down. Next is sudden stops, where I just stop suddenly. And if he is about to hit the end of the leash, yes, good. It's a little pop. Good boy, bud. Yes. Come on, let's go. Yes. Good boy. Right, and once we remove the leash pulling and we set the expectation, you're gonna have to generalize a little bit. Like for the next couple sessions, you might have to do a couple stops and U-turns, but he should never pull on a leash again. And you should never let him. If he's pulling on a leash, it's because you're letting him pull on a leash.
Right.
And so now it's a little bit of sporadic walking where it kind of turns into a game, you know, and it makes it a little more fun, where, you know, I'll walk slow and then I'll walk fast. And I'll do Yui. Whoop. Yes, good. Whoop. Good boy. Come on. Yes.
I love the way he trots.
Whoop.
It's a good boy.
Right, it's like he kind of has to be paying attention to me, but it makes it more fun for him. Yes, good boy. Yes. No. So see, he was about to start chewing the leash.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
He ripped through his last leash at the beach.
Again, that's just a boundary.
Yep.
You know, if you let him do it, yes, good buddy. If you let him do it, he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
But if you just make that a like, hey, we don't do that here. I know, bud. Yeah.
Going on.
If you make that a like, hey, we don't do that here. I just corrected him. He's not mad at me.
Yeah.
You know, he's obviously not mad at me. Yeah, I know, bud. You're such a little snuggle bug. And you're allowed to snuggle. We're allowed to have fun, but what he's not allowed to do is jump. So if we want to stop him from jumping, oh, I know, bud. Yeah.
Took him on, yeah.
Yeah, come on. Yes. Hi. Hey, bud. Hi, bud. Hi. No. Yes. Good. Right? We don't jump. You jump on me. That's wrong. Stop. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Yes. Sit. Yes, good boy. Good boy, bud. Yeah, thanks for the licks.
You're doing so well.
See how
I'm so proud of
he's
you.
a lot more chill, you know, right? A lot calmer.
Yeah.
And so when we walk into seeing a dog in this mindset, we're already set up for success, right? Before he was on a walk, he's like waiting for the dog so he can react to them. Now he's a lot more like, right? We're already in a better mindset to be successful. And this in and of itself, like just loose leash walking and building that relationship, will significantly help reactivity, just that alone. And
Boy.
now, you want me to bring out a dog and see how he does?
Sure.
Yeah? Dewey, give blood. Yeah. Yes. Good boy. Give blood. Yes.
Good
Walk
boy.
right by me.
Walk right by.
Yeah. Yes, give it out. Give it out.
Good boy. Good boy. Good job. Let's go.
You can already tell there's a very different reaction now. Good boy.
Good boy. Good job, buddy. Good boy.
Give it out. Yes. Laces. Good boy.
Let's go. Good boy. Good job.
Right, so you were kind of able to bring him back in. And so that's exactly what I mean, where when you have a bad rep, it doesn't have to be for as long as we just did, but he reacted.
That's it.
And then, like, we hung out there for a second to like you got him to calm down. Hey, that's wrong. And then we got to sit there for a second, show you, hey, this is right too.
Right.
And now you just stand there. See, good boy.
Good boy. Good job. Good job. Nope. Sit.
Give blood. Give blood. Yes. Give blood. 9. Give blood. Yes.
Good boy. Good boy. Yes. Good job.
So now you've started to make some boundaries. Good boy, bud. You know, and he kind of has like, I mean, look at it. He's so chill right now, you know?
Good boy.
He's just like taking it in. And now we have the opportunity to let him take these things in, right? And let him learn that, hey, just because there's a dog there, we don't play.
Yeah.
And so it takes a little bit longer to like allow him to fully take it in, where he just looks at a dog and doesn't care.
Yeah.
Right, that's like the last like 10% that takes, you know, a little bit longer.
Thank you very much for the help, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
As well to you. This is awesome.
Of course.
And of course to Dewey, who's been a star, man. And you.
He hasn't always been. Yeah, I
You've
know.
been so good.
We keep making fun. I just taught him to do like the, you know, in between my legs and bark like that. He used to be able to bark on command, but I taught him to like, you know, continually bark. But we haven't gotten the like mature adult mean bark fully out yet. If you want to see an uncut version of this training session and plenty more like it, go join the Dream Dog program. I will guide you through every step of training. And if you are in the Northern Virginia area or you want to bring your dog down to the Northern Virginia area, I have a board and train program. Links for those will be in the description below. Hit that subscribe button and see you guys next time.